Hello, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. So, happy solstice to you. Today is December 21st of 2020. It's an auspicious day. It's been well anticipated and talked about. We have heard, I keep getting this vision in my head. If you guys remember the movie Independence Day, and when people started hearing about these aliens coming on Independence Day, they all climbed on the roof and they threw a party. And I'm thinking about that image, and it goes through my head a little bit where it's like people don't really understand what to expect or what they're, you know, it's just wild. With what I do, it's much more simplistic than people would initially imagine. Yes, it's magical. My life is very magical and very, hi, Tiffany. So, my life is very magical and very unique and very strange. And I share some of that stuff with you guys just so you can have an opportunity to know a little bit about me and what I do and how it works. Because in talking with my partner Rory on the podcast, she was like, don't give away the farm. And I'm like, yes, give away the farm. Give away all of it, because what's true is you're going to find out that there's more to meets the eye. There's not just some tarot cards, that there's workings that go behind this stuff. There's energy. Like, my energy has to be clear in order to read out your energy. I can't just be all wacky and out, in my own shit and not be clear enough to get, because you're going to really taint the reading by coming to it with, bad attitude or preconceived ideas. And so this chance that I have to talk a little bit, I'm trying to do a little bit more with it than just giving tarot readings, but giving you guys some backstories to it. But, yes, give away the farm. Yes, I don't want gatekeeping anymore. I don't want people to be hoarding knowledge like it's so proprietary, or that you have to be a certain demographic or a certain lineage or have certain training. Yes, get training. Yes, follow, what you're inspired to do. And there's a lot of ideas about what's supposed to be happening. There is a lot of people out there that have this belief system that this is like end of days. And if any of you are Christian, which a lot of us have some experience with Christianity or the Bible enough to know that things were being said about, 2012, we talked about, wait, let's go back even to 2000. So like 2000, it was, the Mayan calendar, right? It was 1999. In the year 2000, we were all going to die, and we were going to have a solar flare, and there goes our electronics. And 2012 was supposed to be the end of the world. And now it's 2020, 12/21 of 2020 is this grand conjunction. Oh, we got it all wrong. And here it is. So this is just me. This is my opinion, based on what I've seen and what I know and who I am and my understandings, is that if you think about the full moon, okay, I want you to think about how much that energy affects us. It affects us for 3 days, right? We have the moon coming and going, and we're feeling a little wonky and all of that new moon, full moon energy and new moon energy, and it takes like 3 days, right? So what happens when we have the age of Aquarius? 1,000 years of peace. Now, I'm no astrologer. I'm a budding astrologer and I study this shit every day, and it's still so much. But here's the thing. Planets don't just pop up in the sky. Neither does the sun, right? The sun doesn't just like pop up in the morning. It takes gradual moments of time. And these planets are miles and huge and colossal. And my bird's going, "Meow." And they take time to move, to shift, and they're coming. I mean, it's not something that pops up like at the very last instant. So I want you to think about that. If this is supposed to be the age of Aquarius, we're just using the logic that is 1,000 years of peace. Do we think that the card is going to flip over and we're going to wake up in the morning and it's going to be like this baptism of the universe? We're going to wake up and everything's going to be crystal bright and it's going to be beautiful. And a lot of you are going to be disappointed when there isn't, these wild, chaotic energies externally. Internally, there should be expected to be these energies that are bringing up choice and your place in the universe and decisions to be made. And I can see, real talk, I had been a prepper at one point. I lived off the land. I was a midwife, had my kids at home. I was an anti-vaxxer. I was vegan. I was well on the path of where I want to be right now. And, the divorce diet cost me a lot. However, here's what's true. I have a lot of skill and knowledge and understanding. And I had this apocalyptic vision in my head, to the point where I remember being with my ex-husband at a brunch on a Sunday and literally fell to my knees, and I could taste cement. I could blood, like the smell of the taste of iron on my tongue. I could taste smoke and ash, and I could literally feel concrete between my teeth, and I couldn't see anything in front of me, and I fell to my knees and I'm sobbing. And I remember when I saw the movie, I don't know if it was Catching Fire or if it was one of the Hunger Games books where Katniss is standing on her district remains and she's looking around and there's this ash and concrete and dust, and it was exactly like that image, and I could see it, and I was like, my God, we are not going to make it. We need to get our shit together. And this was, I want to say, maybe 5 years ago. And so for me, I see things first, and then I try to figure out like the moving parts, like what's really going on and what really to worry about. But I think decisions were made. And this is very private, but you know what? I'm out here. And I did my ayahuasca experience last September, and I had seen some things for us. I had seen some things. And I don't know where the decision was made, and I don't know where the shift had happened, but I can tell you that what I see, and I'm no seer, and I'm no um, priest or anybody super magical, but I can only tell you the world according to karma, what I've seen. And what I've seen is beautiful communities. I see peace. I see innovation. Like I see mechanical devices and technology that I can't explain. And I see peace, and I see cleanliness, and I see pure water. And I don't know, that image I can barely recall. The only reason why I can recall those apocalyptic visions is because I can point to the movie where I can be like, yeah, it was like that. But it's like the timeline is gone. So how does that work? I don't know. But here's what I do know, that this day is a breath. It is a moment in time where things stand still. And so in the practice of spirituality, we often talk about these pauses being good times to take space and really reflect. And so just like a new moon, I'm treating this grand conjunction and this winter solstice as a new moon. And I'm setting my intentions. And if this really is the beginning of 1,000 years of peace, then I am about it. I am about it. And I would encourage you to think about that. Like, what if this is that moment? And if you can be a part of it, how can you contribute? And so in reading some of the material that I've stumbled upon in the last year or so, I've really dived into some deeper mysteries, and I fell into The Law of One by LL Research. I would encourage you to read it if you're open. It's channeled sessions with the consciousness of Ra, and it talks about exact sciences and what's to happen and how we are really coming upon like the paradise and what it's going to take to get there. And what it takes is a choice. Okay. It takes a choice to do better. It takes a choice to come from love. It means to really put yourself on the line. So are you going to be on the train or on the tracks? Because that's the moment that we're in right now. And right now it is about the choice. So you have to choose. And I think you can feel this like galvanized energy and this polarity that's going on with everybody is starting to get stirred up a little bit, maybe either for one way or the other. And a lot of the readings that I'm getting is people that are dissatisfied with the status quo, and they're dissatisfied with this energy of stuck, this matrix energy, this work for the man energy, this my relationship's not the thing that I want, and why am I doing it? This is the whole I have a dream. Okay, this is my dream right here. I'm telling you, this is my dream, and you guys are going to watch it from here. I promise you, the things that I'm bringing to the table are going to be stupendous. And I'm super excited because I am tired of gatekeeping. I'm tired of people saying that knowledge is only for certain people that have the perfect body and the perfect diet and the perfect, practice and the perfect teacher. And here's what's true. If I waited for all of that stuff, I wouldn't have anything, because ultimately I chased it down. Whenever opportunities popped up, I took them. And I said this the other day, and I wrote a blog on it. It's on my website. It's called Come On In, the Water's Fine. Jump in where you're at. And I know I wrote this earlier, and I hope you guys hear this. And it's just begin. Okay. My whole thing is, I was talking to, I think it was Virgo, where I had said, if I had not if I had stopped, if I had maybe talked myself out of it that I was of value, or that my skill set wasn't as good as it should be, I wouldn't be here now. Not saying I'm great. I have a lot to work on and a lot I want to yet do. Astrology's bugging the shit out of me. I feel like it's, for some reason, I feel like it's imperative to learn astrology. And even though through reading raw material, they say you have an affinity for one or the other, I would absolutely love to bomb your readings and be the tarot astrologer, and sit here and go, so you have this thing in nature, but that's also coming up with aspects with Saturn and whatever, because you can say, look, there's proof. I like to be able to point to science, and it is so exact and it's so beautiful. Yes, it's based on interpretation, and yes, it can be a spiritual practice, but the both of them together, I just want to come from power, right? But here's the thing. I've been wanting to study astrology for so long, and it's a science, and it's a lot. But here's the truth. If I hadn't started, I wouldn't be able to follow along now. But I'm going to be bringing Rory on here, and I'm going to ask her all the questions. I think I'm going to make her do it Wednesday when we do the Practical Magic podcast. I want to be able to talk about like what questions I have and how I want to learn doing charts. And so she's going to have her brain picked. You guys can see her pull my chart out and look at it, and you can compare the girl you know and hopefully love, the process of pulling a chart and seeing how accurate it is. I remember when Nam did my chart on my live a couple years ago, or maybe it was a year and a half ago. He was like, are you bi? Do you have like, that's like wild swinger energy. I'm like, whoa, like how did he pick up? He's like poly or bi or open. Like he pointed to a certain aspect. How do you pull that from a chart, piece of paper and angles? And I want you to think about astrology for a second before I move on to this next phase and let you go, is that if you were to look back at the thousands of years of astrology and how it was done, like as a science, it was literally a piece of paper, a wheel, a measuring, like a compass. They measured this shit. How smart do you have to be to have different tools than technology that we do, that has a computer that can do it for you? Y'all better not come up with no fucking excuses about studying astrology, because it's done for you. You click in your name, your birthday, and your time of birth and the place you were born, and boom, there's these graphs. Now it's understanding how to dissect them and pair them up, but there's an abundance of information. There are no excuses, guys. There are no excuses at this point to act like you didn't know. And there are so many tools that are out there, and there's so many people speaking to this. You find the practitioner that speaks to you. You find the YouTuber, you find the astrologer, you find the tarot, you find the witch, you find the priest, you find the shaman. You find them, and you start to pick the pearls that work for you, and you make it happen. Because all I have to say to you guys is this: begin. I was saying this the other day, and I'm hoping this like gets heard. Like, if you study and you read something, your mind expands to possibilities. If you read astrology, then you start to learn the movements and the patterns in the universe. You study tarot, you do tarot, and you begin to learn the pathways of mankind, that there's phases to everything and processes. And as they begin to develop, they're like dominoes. And so we go from one phase to the next, and you start to understand human nature. If you begin to meditate, right, or even plant medicine, it begins to open your third eye, and you begin to see. If you do yoga, you begin to understand the processes of the body, and you have a beautiful, peaceful, meditative practice, and you come to understand your body and its machinery. You go vegan, you go diet better, you work out, you start to clean the vessel. The cleaner the vessel, the cleaner the message, the clearer the message, right? I mean, I could go on and on, but I just want you to know that if you're feeling like it's too much, if you feel like there's a lot, it's sage, it's salt, it's yoga, it's diet, it's shamanism, it's tarot, it's astrology, it's witchy, it's all of those things. But if you do not begin, you'll be where you always are. And awareness is key. So when we have these moments that are going on with us, and we're starting to become aware of these other things, don't be afraid to dive into any subject. I've rabbit hole. Let's just talk about diving in to, going down the rabbit hole. I've seen some crazy stuff, but some of it isn't for me. But I just want you to know that there are a lot of people out there that do the you should this and you should that. Yes, you absolutely should. However, start where you are. And I want to encourage you to ask questions, to play with this. Take some peaceful moments today and sit with yourself and figure out where you are and what it is that you want, and make a decision. Like, make a decision on what you want to do next, and how, and like, ultimately, if it's nothing, what's the worst thing that can happen if you put some clear intentions out there and you start to decide what you want this world to look like? Because it all starts here. Every idea started here, and then it went here, and then it comes out. When we believe it, when we own it, when we truly master this machine right here, we can become co-creators, and we can start to create what we want to see. And I would encourage you guys to jump in and do that. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. I also want to mention that I did a thing. I have a thing for gimmicks. I hate them. That's why I don't do any production to my videos. I value your time. And the moment I see too many things to click and produced by and fucking music and all this other fluff, the first thing that goes through my brain is, what are you trying to sell me? Here's what I'm trying to sell you: awareness. So I'm also encouraging you to take a next step. And so if that means getting a reading from me, getting some energy work, and getting into alignment before the new year, whether that is taking on the big beast and really wrestling it down, I would encourage you to jump in and get some coaching. So 20% off all of my services, including Rory's, on the website. Good Karma. Just plug it in. Let me know what you want to get done, and I will help you get there. Love and light, guys. The law of one. We all are one. We are in the same place. Okay? This is our planet. And it's time. It's time to do better. So I would encourage you to choose, and I'm right there with you. Thank you for hanging out.